Hi, this week we're going to talk about the legal form of organization for business. So there's about 4 or 5 main types of organizations: sole proprietors, partnerships, corporations, and that includes both C and S corporations, LLCs, LLPs. And we'll talk about the advantages and disadvantages of them. The main thing for any type of decision of what type of entity you want to be are legal considerations, liability issues. If you have a business that is highly litigious, like a restaurant, then you need to have some form of liability protection. And that's what S corporations, C corporations, LLPs, LLCs give you. If you're not in such a litigious business, or you are thinking you don't have a lot of liability issues, then maybe you don't need that big of structure, at least to start out with. And I always tell my clients, of course, I don't ever give legal advice, but one of the things to consider is, if it at all possible, after consulting with an attorney on your liability issues, if you don't need to form a corporation right out of the gate, it's probably better not to do so, because forming a corporation or an LLC is expensive, and it creates a lot of administrative overhead to run one of those types of organizations. So until you know your business is going to be viable, it's probably better to let it start out in a sole proprietor or a partnership if you have more than one business owner, to make sure it's viable before you incur all the costs of a more advanced form of organization and incur all the overhead associated with those higher levels of organization. So as always, I stress, speak with an attorney about these issues, and also your accountant or CPA, because there are tax implications for all these decisions. And you want to understand from the very beginning how this business is going to be taxed. Is it a flow through? Will it pay its taxes on its own, or pass the tax implications on to its owners? And those are very important conversations. And I've had to tell a lot of clients, giving them the bad news, that their S corporation, for instance, has passed through a lot of income onto their personal tax return that they're not prepared for. So having those discussions and being aware early, before the business actually launches, is very important. The assignment this week is going to go through a case study about Cassie, who has a business opportunity, and she's getting ready to go with her partner to the attorney to discuss all these implications. And she wants to be more prepared for that discussion with the attorney. So you're her business advisor. Tell her what you've learned from this class and from reading the chapter on legal organization, so that she's better equipped to know the right questions to ask the attorney, and things that she should be talking about with her partner before they go into this. And also, what would be some of those tax implications that she should talk to with her CPA or tax professional. So hopefully this will give you a good case study to use that you can then take off and apply to your business adventure and figure out the correct business ownership for your business. And then, as we talked about in earlier lectures, you're supposed to be working on your business plan simultaneously, so that you're not trying to write a 15 to 20 page document at the end of the semester all in one evening. So in part 2, company description, there's a section on organizational structure. So I recommend that you write that section now after you do this week's deliverables, so while it's fresh in your mind, and to help you manage that deadline at the end of the semester. So I hope you learn a lot from this lecture today. I know this is an awful lot of information. There's also a business law class that you can take here at MiraCosta, which goes more in depth on a lot of these topics. Enjoy.